it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today's project is this one. This is a spinner card, as you can see. So, it's such fun! Right, so I am using This Little Piggy stamp set. I'm also using, now if you've spotted, this is carrying over into the new annual catalogue, but I'm also using the Myths and Magic designer series paper, specialty designer series paper, which is not. Generally speaking, our designer series paper doesn't carry over. So yeah, it's time to use it up. So, this is actually a lot easier than it looks. Probably the most complicated bit is cutting out the pig. So let's get started. I need a scrap of Whisper White. Now, all the products that I have used are going to be linked in the description, in the blog post, which is linked below in the description bar. So don't worry about writing anything down. Measurements will also be there. Now, I'm inking this up. This is the Flying Pig. I'm inking it up with Memento ink. I've not inked the She Believed She Could ... It doesn't matter if you do, because we're going to cut it away anyway. So this is thick Whisper White. On the original, I actually used Shimmer White, but I thought I'd try it on thick Whisper White. I am going to use blends, which I know at the moment are not available, but they should be back being available very soon. So won't be long, and you never know, there may be a few more. I'm not saying anything. So, right, let's close that up. Right, okay, so if we're using blends, we need to make sure that this is really, 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 really dry. So you can either stamp it and then heat it up with your heat tool, or you can do what I've done, which is stamp one and leave it for a while. So, the blends that I'm using, and you could use a blender pen and your ink pads, but I'm using both of the Crumb cakes, the Pale Smoky Slate, both of the Pink Pirouette, and the Light Pumpkin Pie. Oh, isn't that strange? I thought I was going to be using the Calypso Coral. Well, 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 no, I used the Light Pumpkin Pie. I might try the Calypso Coral. Although it might be a bit dark. Might be a bit too dark. Oh no, I think that might be nicer. Right, can that. We'll use the Calypso Coral. Right, so Pink Pirouette, as we know, is not going to be in the new annual catalogue. It's part of the colour revamp this is going, but that's fine for the moment. We have it, so let's use it. So I'm using the dark Pink Pirouette on her nose, and I'm just going to add a rosy cheek, and then I'm going to use this as a bit of a shade on the inside of her ear. Actually, I'm also, no, I'll come back and do that. The key to using blends is to, if you want to blend rather than just lay down colour, is to blend whilst the first colour is still a little damp. I can't really say more than damp, because it's not ever going to be really wet. So that's that bit. Now I'm going to come in with the, actually I'm going to come in with the dark Crumb cake first. Now I've brought out the light Crumb cake. I don't think I used it, so we'll put that one to one side. So dark Crumb cake on her little trotters. Oh, and I know what else I used the dark Pink Pirouette for. I used the dark Pink Pirouette for her tail, because I thought it would be fun to have that really nice and pink. So that's that. Right, okay, so this is where we start on the shading. So anywhere where there is going to be a shadow, I'm coming in with the light Calypso Coral, and just adding a bit of a shade. So we'll have shading there, and we'll have it down here. And I wanted the slightly coral, which obviously with the pumpkin pie I got very coral, because I don't think pigs are pink. I think they are more of that kind of peachy tone. But yeah, I thought I was grabbing Calypso Coral when I did the original, and I wasn't. Right, then I'm going to come in with the thick end of the pink pirouette and just blend that out a wee bit. Let's just take that up onto the ear. Now it doesn't matter too much if you go over the lines, because we are going to cut it out. So we have got all the excitement of the new catalogue coming. That's not to say we haven't still got the excitement of the get it while you still can, because there is nothing worse than thinking, yeah, I'll get that, and then missing out. This is also a great time to think about all those stamps that you thought you might not actually want, and now you've seen that they're not on the retirement list. What a great time to get them. And even better, if they're part of a bundle, this is the light pink pirouette, if they're part of a bundle, get them now whilst they're still part of a bundle. Because, as you know, all those stamps and dies and punches that are in a bundle may carry over. The bundle won't. So if you want to save that 10% that you get by buying a bundle, get it now. So I'm just going to blend all of that in a bit better, because we've got some lines that I don't particularly like at the moment. Now for the wings, I'm using the light smoky slate, and again I'm going to add shadow where you would think there would be shadow, and then just some definition around the tips of the wings. And then I'm coming in with the pale pink pirouette again, just to blend that out, and because we've used the grey, that will help to make these a slightly different pink to the body of the pig, because we're bringing in more of that cool tone. Actually that's a bit dark, let's just lighten that a bit. Right, okay, so fussy cutting. I normally say let's not bother with me fussy cutting, but in this occasion I have not done a Blue Peter. Here's one I prepared earlier, other than this stamping. So you're going to have to put up with me. So, you will have seen that I have posted some projects using the soon-to-be early released Share What You Love bundle. Suite, I should say. Sorry, I've got a sniffle. It's a lovely, lovely day here in South Oxfordshire. I know some of you like our weather reports from South Oxfordshire. We've been having a few really lovely days. The only problem, and I'm not one to complain that we've got nice weather, but I am a hay fever sufferer. And by hay fever I mean not hay, actually, because it's not hay season. I suffer from tree pollen and spring flowers. So for me, a wet spring is not too bad, apart from the fact I also suffer from, I get hay fever symptoms from fungus spore, so if it's too damp that's not good either. However, because it's been a wet spring, I was going to say autumn, spring, I've not had too much hay fever. Unfortunately, one of the joys of living in the country is that there are lots of crops around. And one of the favourite crops in South Oxfordshire is rapeseed, to make rapeseed oil. It's that, if you know the UK, and I know a lot of you are not in the UK, but if you know the UK, when you drive around at this time of the year and you see field upon field of really acid yellow flowering crop, that is oilseed rape, or rapeseed for oil. And it is, I mean, it's a really acid yellow. In fact, it's very close to one of our new in colours, which is Pineapple Punch. It's a really, that's a really good acid yellow. which we've been kind of missing. So I'm looking forward to that. Someone described our new ink colours as being like Lego colours. They are real primary colours. They are gorgeous. I am going to do a video, I must write this down, I am going to do a video on comparing new colours to old, because I've seen some people saying, oh, but this colour's so like that colour, why are they retiring that colour just to replace it with something else? They're not the same. They are so different. Right, okay, so there is our lovely little pig. I'm going to grab a little bit of Wink of Stella and just add some to her wings whilst we construct the rest of the card. But I just want those to be a little bit glittery, and it might be quite useful to do a comparison. I know I used a different peachy colour, but on the basis that most of this is the same colouring, this is the difference between thick whisper white and shimmery white. So this is very much more that peachy colour, whereas this is more pink, more of a clear pink. So the rest of the card, we are using Soon to Retire Tangerine Tango, Powder Pink, and Soon to Retire Myths and Magic Designer Series paper, Specialty Designer Series paper, and this is the one with the stars on the back. I have cut this. This is a standard A6 card. It's just I've cut it the other way, so normally I cut it short and fat, and this time I'm cutting it long and thin, so that it's still that shape. I do find that if you're going that way, so if you have the crease at the top, sometimes your cards can splodge, particularly if they've got any weight on them, and as we're adding the spinner, that does count as weight. So so this is, as I say, standard. It's a half a sheet of A4, just cut in half down the middle rather than down the middle long ways. I've also got a piece of Whisper White for the inner. So in reverse order, let's do the inner first. And I'm just going to ink this up. Now, here's the thing with an inner. Never, ever, 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 ever stamp on your inner once it's stuck in. Because had I stamped that the upside down, there's nothing I could have done. But if I just stamped that upside down, loose, all I have to do is that. So it's just worth thinking about that. Pool Party, which is the colour of the sky on the original paper. So where are we on timing? 12 minutes, not too bad for me. So this is the little cloud from the stamp set, so it's still the same stamp set, and the So She Did is the She Believed She Could, So She Did. And all I'm going to do is stamp some clouds in that corner, and I'm doing some full strength and some part strength. Do remember, now here's the thing, so let's put another one up here. So if I pop that one there, if I now use this to stamp a half strength, I'm going to get, didn't particularly because it's rather too well inked, you can end up getting a line. If you go off the edge, you can end up then getting a line on your second generation, so not a good look. Right, so that's that. I'm also going to stamp the She Believed She Could. So for this, I'm just going to come in under here with my straight edge of my memento. I'm just going to come in, stick my backside out. I do stamp standing up. I do most things standing up. Good old sciatica means that for me standing is better. So I've just inked that rather than this. It probably will be okay, but it's just easier to not have the bottom of her belly. Because I'm then going to come in with the classic label punch, and just this fits beautifully in the classic label punch, which we will be using again in a moment. So that's that. Right, okay, we can now construct. So let's get rid of some of the mess. So the first thing to do is to attach the Designer Series paper. This is powder pink. The measurements, as ever, are on my blog. I think I've already said that, and that is linked immediately below in the description bar. But these are my standard size layers. So nothing new there. So that's that. Pop this on here. Right, now, here's the trick. So, actually I'll do it that way up. You want to push this in as far as it will go from the top. So this is the top of the mat. And you want to be about 1 inch-ish in from the end. You can always add a bit and just punch. And then slide along. And again, be as far in as you can on the punch. And actually that's a bit far. Just try and make sure that this is lined up. This again is going to be, from the point to the edge is going to be about 1 inch. And punch. And then you've got your nice slit. And because you've done it square against this, it's basically straight. Keep these 2 pieces. Those bits are rubbish. Right. Okay. It's almost straight. Right. So, to construct your spinner, you need 2 pennies. I'm guessing cents will work, but I am not in the US or indeed any other country, so I can't guarantee that. But you want a coin that is narrower, as in thinner, top to bottom, than the dimensionals that you're going to use. And I'll explain that a bit better in a moment. So, glue dots on the back of one of your pennies. And then pop that on the back of your, this penny is filthy, on the back of your pig. Right, so what do I mean by it needs to be narrower? So I'm going to use these on the back of my card. So you want the coin to be no fatter than your dimensional. We're actually going to use a small dimensional for the spinner, just so that it spins better. But yeah. Right, now, normally I would not put as many dimensionals on here, but because we're going to have, we want the middle of the card to be not squished, because otherwise the penny will not be able to roll. I'm going to use more than I normally would. Now, if you're worried about this, you could use our adhesive strips, which are thicker. So you do have that choice. Do not come right around here, because the penny is going to be hanging either side. So you want support, but you don't want a break. So that's sort of how I would do it. Bring in my mini bin. So yes, have you seen these share? You've seen me share some of the Share What You Love bundles. They are brilliant. I'm loving the products. The paper is phenomenal, and it's all pearlescent. I say all pearlescent. A lot of it is pearlescent because it's our pearl anniversary. 30 years is pearl, so we're embracing the pearl. But it's really lovely, thick paper. It's like the Myths and Magic, if not thicker actually, but it's brilliant. And if you put it into, if you put the biggest bundle, or indeed any of the bundles, into a starter kit, oh no, I mustn't do that yet, then you get it even cheaper, because each of the bundles has free stuff in it. Right, so let's take the backing off our mini dimensional, drop our penny so that it's as near lined up as possible, and then you can see that it's not going to be interrupted by those dimensionals. And then drop the whole thing onto your card. Whilst we're on the front, let's now I did this a different way on the original, and I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to do it a different way this time, because it was a bit of a faff. So I'm going to pop some Fast Fuse, it's still in stock in the UK, onto the back of one of our punched out pieces so that it's sticking out there, and then on the back of our other punched out piece. I don't actually need all of this punched out piece, so I might actually snip it off. In there. and then pop, whoops, all fingers and thumbs. And pop that, oops, there, and I've stupidly gone over the edge. That's what I want. We don't unfortunately sell this anymore, but it's ever so useful. It's an adhesive remover, because I've just realised I put fast fuse on the ends, which was remarkably stupid, but you can get it off with your adhesive remover. So if you've got one of these, you can use it. You do have to kind of work at it, and every now and again you have to cut off the bits that are, so whoops, and throw it on your floor where it bounces, because it's sort of rubbery. Right, okay, small dimensionals on the back of that. Just 3, whoops, and take our backings off. 1, 2, 3, or indeed 2, 3. She believed she could, so she did. Right, I've got some of the mini tinsel trim that was in the spring summer catalogue. This is in the pink, obviously. So I'm just going to do a double bunny ear bow and pull that tighter. Sorted it. Just trim that off. Then that comes with gold mini trim, so you could start stocking up for Christmas. Right, I folded a glue dot in half, pop it on there, and then pop that just there. Then some adhesive on the back of this. Open our card up, whoops, put it on the right way up, always a plan. And there we go. So there we are. Let's spin. Come on, spin. They do sometimes need a bit of persuasion. There we go. Sort of spinning. It's more of a slide at the moment, but you get the idea. We can spin that. And this one is spinning really was spinning really nicely. There we are. So you can see it does do its thing. So there we go. 2 spinner cards. She believed she could, so she did. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, please hit the subscribe button, which is down in the bottom right hand corner. Then you will, when you log on to YouTube, you will see if I've got a new video up. If you also hit the alert button, once you've subscribed, there's a little bell. You can hit the alert button. You'll get an email to tell you that I've that various of the people that you've got notifications on, they'll send you an email when you hit the alert button. If you need any of the products, I would be thrilled if you would shop with me. I'm trying very hard to aim for Greece, which is the incentive trip for this year. I have got a way to go, but if you don't aim, you don't get. She believed she could, so she did, is kind of my motto at the moment. And every time you shop with me, you get me that little bit closer to going to Greece. The Share What You Love bundles will be available as early release on the 1st of May for customers. As I say, you can add those to a starter kit, which gets you even more product for your money, because each of the bundles has free stuff in it. And we've worked out that if you put the largest bundle in your starter kit, you can actually end up with about £150, £155 worth of product, all for £99 delivered. Because the £99 starter kit does not have delivery added on. Brilliant. There's all that information is over on my blog. If you look under current promotions on my blog, you'll find that, or I think it's current offers. Anyway, I shall love you and leave you, and see you again soon, I hope. Bye!